Because we have all of the, in the men's community, right? There's all of the factions and all the MGTOW and the black pill and all this kind of stuff and the debates over all these things. So, just from your perspective, right? With what you've gone through, what you've experienced with all the guys that you coach, what's really important for guys if they want to attract a high quality woman? If they, is it, the whole looks, money, status thing? Where do you kind of sit on that? What kind of advice would you give to guys, if they practically want to be able to actually get a woman that they want? What should they be doing and focusing on?
Yeah, I have a chapter in my book on that in great detail, actually. Yeah, looks, money, status matters. I mean, you definitely want to max out, within reason in areas that you can control. I'd still say, stay away from surgeries like, breaking your shins to make yourself half an inch taller or jaw reconstruction, unless you've got like a severe birth defect or something that you got to deal with. But you can really looks max quite a bit. I mean, I talk to a lot of guys, and you probably notice this too, but I mean, one of the questions that I often ask them when they're struggling is like, on a scale of 1 to 10, with 10 being the best version of you, nobody else, just you, where would you rate yourself on a scale of 1 to 10? And you'd be surprised how many guys are like 4, 5, 3. It's like, why are you even dealing with women? Like, women don't even swipe right on guys on dating apps unless they see you as an 8 out of 10 or better. Right. And that's even starting at 3, like 3 to 10 women. Like even a 3 will only swipe right on an 8. Right. Yeah. She's got this preconceived notion in her head. It's just bonkers to me. But either way, like, weight that you got to lose, money you got to make, debt that you got to get rid of, a style, like a look that you have to have. That's all work that you have to do as a guy. Because women are beauty objects, men are success objects. So you just can't look good. You have to look good. Plus you have to have done something of some significance in your life. If you're 20 years old and you have a plan and you're an alpha Chad, awesome, cool. Women will tolerate that. If you're a 47-year-old guy that's gone through the divorce grinder and you got nothing to show for yourself and you've been ground through and you're living in your parents' basement and you have a plan at 47, they don't have a lot of patience for that, right? As guys get older, it's kind of expected of them by the opposite sex and by society in general to have done something. I did this cast once with Conk. I think you know who he is, right? We did this cast about a year and a half ago, and men, generally speaking, are net over producers for pretty much their entire life. Like, as long as they're productive, from the age of like 18 well into their 50s or 60s, they produce more than what they consume. Women, on the other hand, I think they don't start producing more than they consume until they hit around menopause. And I think that's because they're still doing some production, but they're also taking on additional childcare, like grandkids and stuff like that, and like, management of multiple households. I'm not exactly sure what all the details are, because we did this like well over a year and a half ago now, but generally speaking, men overproduce for the vast majority of their life. So it's kind of expected of men to go and do the work. And that's why I keep pounding this out there to guys, like, do the damn work, right? Yeah. Well, what does that mean, Rich? What's the work that I got to do? The fucking work, do it, right? Like, what you got to do.
Right. Yeah.
I love how do I lose weight? Move more, eat better. Like, you need a fucking, prescription for it.
Yeah. It's not that people don't know what they need to do. They don't want to do what they need to do. And they want the shortcut. They want the answer. They want the cheat codes. Yeah. Yeah. I like that. I'm going to start using that. How you ask guys, how do they rate themselves on a 1 to 10, the best version of themselves? That's so relevant, because there's very few guys I think that would ever, I mean, I don't think there's anyone. I've never encountered someone that I would say would rate themselves like above an 8 that's complaining, that has a black pill type of philosophy, that doesn't have a good life.
I've never booked with anybody to coach one-on-one that said that they're a 9 or a 10. Mm-hmm. They don't need my help. The world's perfect because they've already done the work on themselves.
Exactly. Yeah. I think that's so important. Like, at least you do the work. At least, when I've dealt with guys that have the real black pill mentality, I'm like, well, let me see your 6-pack abs. Like, let's start there. Because
if they don't even show their faces, you're not going to see 6-pack abs, trust me.
But it's like, if you've done the work, then let me see the work. Like, let's see. Like, because if you show up and you've done all these things and then you still aren't having success, then I might have some empathy for you. But if you haven't paid your dues, then what can you expect? So, but yeah, so that's so then So then for guys, and well, I think also like what you said about what's expected of men. I think a lot of men think that's unfair, but they don't realize the advantage, right? Like, guys like us that are older, who are successful, who physically look good, who have taken care of themselves. There's not many of us. Like, most of the guys that are in our age category are fat and lazy and don't have much to show for themselves. And so it's kind of like I feel like the competition is pretty thin up here. And so
Yeah.
you sort of like, if you're willing to do the work, you sort of get the lion's share of rewards. Whereas, if you're not, then like, as you age, it becomes worse and worse for you.
Yeah, it's really important to start young and put an emphasis on self-care. I like playing this game at the grocery store, where it's like, I mean, you can't do it now because they have all this social distancing and stuff. But before all that, I used to love watching people unload their grocery cart on the conveyor belt.
Yeah.
And then looking at what's on the conveyor belt, and then looking at them, and then looking again at the conveyor belt. And it's like, there's always a direct correlation between what they eat and what they look like.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. It's very true.